Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Vertigo, and welcome to the very first episode of GrindHouse. This is gonna be my casual chat, just playing a game to chill, kind of talk show kind of dealio, where I can just play a little game, not really be worried about um, how it goes. Except since I'm playing live, I'm still gonna pause to think about the game every now and again, like I just did. Um, but yeah, this is just going to be my opportunity to kind of just have a little casual chat and talk about things that are important to me, important to you guys, just things that are important in general. And it's kind of important for me to do this because there's one specific reason that I started doing YouTube, and it's going to be our topic for today. Basically, what first inspired me to become a YouTube content creator, if that's really what you can call me at this point. I'm not sure if I'm a content creator, if I'm just some nerd who's playing video games on the internet. I don't know what I am exactly, but what really inspired me to become a content creator was how much YouTube helped me deal with a really hard time in my life. And I'm going to be talking about that time and how everything has played out since then. Good goal, by the way. I'm kind of surprised that panned out for us, since I'm not really focusing all that much on the match. But anyway, basically what I'm going to be talking about today is handling depression. And I know this is kind of a 0 to 100 topic. This is my very first time doing the kind of talk showy format. Not even really a format, just this is my first time really talking to you guys, you know? For the most part, when I'm playing, I try to be funny or entertaining or interesting, but it's, this is obviously going to be a very somber topic, and it's a topic that's really kind of tough for me to talk about, because I don't really like to talk about it. I don't know what kind of person really would like to talk about depression, but it's important for me to talk about it on this channel. Wow, what a shot. I was really worried that was going to go in. Oh, God. That scared me a little bit. But it's really important for me to talk about this because YouTube, for starters, YouTube is how I was able to cope with a really difficult time in my life, and it is what inspired me to become a video maker. So what happened is, a couple years ago, I was going through a really tough time in my life. I was in that transitionary period between college and high school. I had just started my first semester of college, and it was, for a while, it seemed like everything was really awesome. I was starting college. I was really excited about that. The summer beforehand was pretty much the best summer of my life, bar none. I had just gotten my first girlfriend over that summer. It was a really good time in my life, and I think that's part of what made me so susceptible to the low point that came after. Um, Basically, everything crashed and burned. Um, I found out that my girlfriend was cheating on me. She told me that she had cheated on me and that she was going to be leaving me for the guy she cheated on me with. So that in and of itself was pretty harsh. On top of that, I found out my parents were going to be getting a divorce. I was dealing with the concept that my father had a huge alcohol problem. We were moving, and because of that, oh wow, that sucks. The goal, not the story. I mean, the story sucks, but not the goal specifically. Um, but anyway, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so basically I went from being a really good spot in my life to being in a really low spot, and it really caused a majority of my life to kind of come crashing down around me. Um, Following, what happened with my girlfriend and what was happening with my family, I basically lost all motivation to accomplish anything. I ended up dropping out of college the following semester. Wow, what a shitty tee off. And, I am sorry if I crack jokes during this story. It is a very, somber topic for me, but making jokes and laughing is also how I deal with things that make me really uncomfortable. So that's largely how I'm going to be handling this topic whenever I feel the story is getting really heavy and I don't want to keep talking about it at that second. But I have to get this off my chest. And gosh darn it, I'm going to say it. So, everything that happened left me like a shell of myself. And it was a long time before I realized that I was battling depression. I was always, coming from someone who was relatively healthy, someone who had never really faced a lot of hardship in life, I didn't look down on people with depression, but, first off, it was something I never thought could happen to me. I thought, everything was always going to be picture perfect, and nothing was ever going to happen to me, and I was always going to be happy despite life's hardships. And second, I wasn't able to come to terms with the fact that one could acknowledge that they had depression. It always seemed, people who touted their depression to me, anyone who ever said to me that they were depressed, I always found that seeming like they were crying for attention. And that was, I carried that mindset for a good portion of my onset. And it wasn't until one day that I realized maybe this is more than just me being bummed out about life. I battled depression for the most part for 2, maybe 3 years. And it wasn't until the end of the first year that I kind of realized what was happening. It was, after everything happened, like I said, I dropped out of college. I hid the fact that I dropped out of college from Mom. And it's not even like I dropped out of college to do something. I was working, so I had that going on for me. But most people drop out of college so they can drink or do drugs or do something else in general. I just spent all day in bed. I would sleep in. I would just sit on my computer, my laptop in bed, and that's where I would spend the whole day. My mom would be at work, so she wouldn't know. Sometimes I would just leave the house and go get breakfast or go shopping or something, just so she would see that I was leaving the house. And that way she wouldn't get super suspicious. There were times that I just flat out lied to her, and told her that, oh yeah, class was canceled today. And that would really just be I just didn't have the energy to get out of bed and pretend like I was a productive member of society. And, what that ended up turning into was I basically just wasted away. Like I said, became a shell of myself. I spent all day in bed. I never did anything. And on top of all that, what really, triggered the idea that I had depression was that things that I always enjoyed just didn't make me happy anymore. That nothing in life was really fulfilling me. And, I remember the feeling I kept having was that I feel completely hollow. And to this day, that is how I define my depression. I felt constantly empty, and there was nothing in my life that could fill the void. And that's really what triggered me to know that what I was going through wasn't just, something that people go through. It was something a lot more than that, something that required more than just a good mindset. I'm not anti-doctors. I'm not anti-medicine. I am anti-doctors and anti-medicine for me. I don't like going to see doctors. I don't like taking medicine, taking pills. And I didn't want to talk about my problems. So I never saw anybody about my problems. By the way, we are getting wrecked in this match. I need to buckle down while I'm talking. So I never got treated. I never saw anybody. I never talked to anybody. It wasn't until my mom found out that I was not going to school that I was really able to talk about everything that happened, or at least tell her. I never told her I thought I was depressed. I never told her I wanted to go see a doctor, because I didn't. And I didn't want to I don't know why. I didn't want to involve her in my problems. I have always been the kind of person who wanted to handle his problems alone. And because of that, this was a battle I fought mostly by myself. I would like to make note that my partner basically just ran the ball down the whole court and put it into our opponent's, or into our own net. This is becoming extremely frustrating. I keep losing my train of thought. But yeah, so my mom found out about everything that was happening with me, and she, obviously she wasn't happy, because I had essentially been lying to her for the better part of a year, I guess, is what the time frame was. I lied to everybody. I lied to my family. I lied to, my family. For the most part, I lied to my friends, too. When my friends would text me or call me and ask where I was at school, I would just be like, oh, class was canceled, or, oh, yeah, I wasn't feeling well, so I called it a day. Which, was true in the sense that I wasn't feeling well, but not true in the sense that I had never started a day to call it a day. So, that's what defines my depression. And I think I'm probably going to do another video about how I ended up overcoming it. But the purpose of this one is to talk about, how I suffered through depression and how YouTube helped me. And to that effect, I want people to understand, that there are ways to cope with depression aside from self-pity and medication. And, that's not taking a shot at anybody with depression. If you had asked me a year ago, well, no. If you had asked me a year before I went through what I went through, I would have told you that depression really wasn't that big a deal. But, obviously knowing what I know now, I sing a much different tune. Oh God, that's 6-1, huh? Boy, this is not going well. I guess I can't have heavy conversations and play video games at the same time. But anyway, back to where I was. So I wanted to talk about how YouTube helped me. Oh wow, my partner just dropped, huh? was hoping I would be able to put that in and then rub it in my partner's face. I was really worried there for a second. So before I dropped out of school, I was still going to college while I was coping with what had happened. And, basically I was just there to be there, because I was not able to focus on my classes. I wasn't even able to talk about it with my friends, because I was so, unhappy over how it went. And what ended up getting me through it was during all the times that I would just sit at school in the cafeteria or wherever, kind of just sitting there feeling sorry for myself was, no, I don't want to save this replay. That was terrible. I would just sit on my phone and watch YouTube videos. And, memories rather, that really stick with me from this time period is I watched Tobuscus's entire 40-part Amnesia series over a matter of 2 days, and the mix of Toby's commentary, his jokes, his ability to just make things seem funny, and the game of Amnesia during that time period. What is happening right now? What am I looking at? I don't know what just happened. During this time period, the only emotion I could really feel was fear. And it was during this time that I started watching a lot of people play horror games. This was around the time Amnesia, The Dark Descent came out. So I was watching a lot of people play that. This is also how I found out about a lot of my favorite YouTubers, not just Toby, but Markiplier, PewDiePie. This is how I found out a lot about them, because I would look up funny Amnesia The Dark Descent compilations, and they would be the ones that popped up. And the mix of humor and fear really kind of jump-started my life, or at least allowed me to cope. It gave me an emotion, because I was so sick of feeling empty, and not being somebody, just being a person. I wasn't myself. I was just, a human. I was a living organism without any emotions. So I was able to, find solace in YouTube, and that was how I pretty much got through the tougher parts of my depression, because I was able to find comfort in YouTube videos, and that's really what inspired me to become a content creator myself. If one person watches my videos and gets anything out of it the way I got out of it, then I could close up shop right now and just say, mission accomplished. Now that I'm getting into it, I'm thinking of YouTube as a potential career option if I am able to develop it far enough. But anything that happens to that effect, it'll always be secondary. The first and primary reason that I wanted to do this YouTube thing is because YouTube basically saved my life. It kept me going long enough to find a way to deal with my depression. If it weren't for YouTube, if it weren't for, Toby, and, if it wasn't Toby, it would have been somebody else. It didn't have to be Tobuscus. If it weren't for this website and its ability to let people create content for other people to watch and enjoy, I might not be here right now. I might have just stewed in my own, misery long enough to, not make it this far. And I don't want to talk about what might have happened if I hadn't found a way to cope, but I think you guys can get the gist of it. And I know that seems extreme. like, oh, YouTube saved your life, huh? Boy, that's weird. But, depression is such a fickle thing. There's no one way to deal with it. It affects everyone differently. Everyone can, it can onset everyone differently. As in, like, it can be caused by different things for different people. And everyone finds different ways to overcome it. So that's kind of my story. It feels really good to kind of get that off my chest. This is the first time I've ever really talked about what happened to me. And, it does feel good. I'm a little, choked up. But, like I said, I owe YouTube, getting me through a tough period of my life. And to that end, it's all on the table. As long as I'm on YouTube, I'm never going to forget everything that happened. And I say that in terms of, this is where I'm going to find my strength. Whenever I feel like YouTube isn't going to work out, I want to just remember why I'm really doing it. Because some point in my life, when things weren't going so hot, I was able to sit down, flip on a YouTube video, and everything for a little while was better. So yeah, that's my story. I hope you guys can find something to take away from it. If you guys have any questions about my story or about depression in general, I know it's tough to talk about depression on the internet, especially to someone you don't know, but I found when I was struggling that the people who could give me the best advice were the ones who had been through depression themselves. Not necessarily, obviously I already said I don't like talking to doctors. So what really helped me get through it on a person-to-person level was, basically first-hand experience by, people who had already been through what I'm going through. The one, nice thing about depression is that, how do I put this? It affects a lot of people, and there's also a lot of people who make it through. So there's a lot of people with stories to tell, which also means there's a lot of experience out there and advice to get you through the tough times. So if you guys have any questions, if you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody, I am anonymous as far as you're concerned. You guys know my internet name, and I will only know your internet name. And sometimes it's that anonymity that can really make you feel free. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any comments, I would love to hear them. This is a topic that I find very dear to me, and it's a topic that whenever possible I love to help people with. So if there's anything you guys need to know about me, or any questions you guys have about dealing with depression, or how to know if you're feeling depressed, and the difference between depression and just having a rough time, please don't hesitate. That's why I started doing this, and that's the primary reason I'm here. So I hope you guys could get something from the story. Not necessarily enjoyed it, maybe you enjoyed it, but I hope you guys got something away. Sorry, I was just admiring that this guy in chat said, you guys are easy to win against when he lost. So I'm going to just bounce back to him. Anyway, I hope you guys got something from this. And I will probably be making a follow-up video about the topic that we talked about today in terms of how to overcome it. and I'll talk about my journey to overcome my depression, and even today, how I struggle with it. I don't want to play this match. I do want to see if that guy responded, though. So yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting. I'll definitely make a follow-up video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, I hope you guys have a good time. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, man. Guys, I don't know why I said man. I was still looking at that guy in chat. I think I'll chat with him for a bit. But anyway, peace out.